Alright, look alive. My name is Shego, and I've been told that you are considering a career in villainy. Well, I hate to break it to you, but I'm going to be your tutor. So any dreams you might have had of this being an easy class just went up in green flames. Now, are you ready to listen? Need to clean out your ears, turn off your phone, put away your earbuds, because if you don't, I will destroy them. All right, now let's begin. It is said that criminals are at a massive disadvantage when it comes to their first time going up against the long arm of the law, because criminals only get one shot to commit their first crime successfully, while heroes and goody-goods have statistically already gone up against villains dozens, if not hundreds of times, and so have extensive experience in thwarting their plans. With this in mind, I think before we try any work out in the field, it is instead important that you should get an understanding of what not to do. Fortunately, I have an excellent case study for you, pre-made by cobbling together the many failed evil schemes of a certain villain known as Dr. Draken, an acquaintance of mine. No, he doesn't know that I'm using his files for this purpose. But it's not like he's really in a position to argue with me. Everyone knows I'm the power behind any attempt that he might want to make at world domination, even if he is always the weak link. All right, so got your pencil ready or your phone opened to the Notes app? I've got these ordered chronologically. So, let's begin. The first example I want you to look at is Incident 1.1-1. This was the first time that we crossed paths with the princess herself, Kim Possible. Well, in this instance, Draken had me steal the plans for an experimental robotic tick. His scheme was to combine the tick with his own nano-explosive, thus creating a weapon which, when attached to a victim, would leave them at his mercy, blah, 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 etc., etc. Now, the owners of the original blueprints for the tick reached out to Kim Possible, and she came by to retrieve the plans, breaking into Dr. Draken's lab in the process. Now, he tried to deal with her by dropping her into a pool of man-eating sharks, which she escaped using a gadget, because of course she did. And then he tried to use auto-targeting lasers. There's only for her to use a compact mirror to redirect the laser and blow up his lair. And you can see that we're off to such a good start. Is my sarcasm thick enough? Fortunately for Draken, somehow through pure blind luck, it turned out that in the scuffle, the prototype tick that Draken had constructed managed to attach itself to Kimmy. And realizing this, Draken tried to blow her up. But, of course, her sidekick managed to help her dissolve of the circuitry, controlling the tick by using freaking Bueno Nacho Diablo hot sauce. No, I'm not kidding. Now, this one has a lot to cover, so I'm going to break it down for you. Takeaway number 1. Don't leave your hero to be eaten alive. Stay and watch. This is not only a great way to increase job satisfaction, and by seeing that the hero is well and truly dispatched, but it also has the added ability of making it easier for you to stop them from successfully carrying out an escape attempt. Takeaway number 2. Don't utilize auto-targeting laser defense grids that are not titanium shielded, because otherwise the hero could redirect one of the beams and blow up your freaking lair. You following me? Good. And takeaway number 3. Do not make any tick-sized micro-robots out of metal that has not been treated with an anti-corrosive coating. Otherwise, what is the point of even attaching it to someone if they can bypass the tick and beat your evil plan with something as ridiculously simple as hot sauce? Gah, I'm still angry about that. All right, moving on. Incident 1.2-2. Here, Draken stole a laser drill from a polar station and moved it to his lair inside Wisconsin's giant cheese wheel. No, I didn't have any say in the location of this lair, obviously. He was planning to drill down to the magma layer and use another machine to pump the magma up so that he could use it to reshape Wisconsin into his own kingdom. Emphasis on the dumb. Of course, Kimmy showed up, but I caught her and securely pinned her to a wall. And Draken's dumb plan might actually have succeeded if her sidekick had not joined her and used his naked mole rat pet to hit the button releasing them both. Takeaway: don't design your evil lair with the release button for your hero trap right next to the trap that is restraining the heroes. This is simple, basic stuff, okay? All right. It's only going to get stupider as we continue. But hopefully you can learn something. Incident 1.3-3. Draken managed to steal and reconfigure a hyper-advanced automated Japanese game assembly line, turning it into a giant robot, to attempt to destroy Kim and rule the world or something. It's always ruling the world with him. Point is, Kim managed to override it with her communicator because, takeaway, bigger does not equal better. Got it? You need clarification. Bigger just means that you have larger blind spots for the hero to exploit. Seriously, when was turning into a giant or using a giant robot ever a smart move? It has a practically zero success rate as far as I'm aware of. Moving on, incident 1.9-9. While I was on vacation, Draken apparently tried to settle the score with his old crew from college, because yes, he has entirely too much time on his hands. Talk about petty. Anyway, he created something called Killer BBs. Clearly the name was aspirational rather than factual, considering the fact that Kimmy is still here, and so is her father and all of his old crew. Because yes, it turned out that one of Draken's old crew from college was in fact Kimmy's dad, Mr. Possible, the rocket scientist. Now, this plan had a sliver of a chance of succeeding, but of course, he ended up losing control of the killer BBs when they encountered the realization that if they were the perfect killing machines, as he had programmed them to think, then how could they take orders from someone who is not perfect? Takeaway: never create robots that are smarter than you. Say it with me. The takeaway is never create robots smarter than you. Okay? All right. Incident 1.16-16. Draken wanted to clone me, but I have a no cloning clause in my contract, so he tried to clone Kimmy. Naturally, it somehow managed to take him 4 tries to actually get Kimmy's DNA because of some whole Kim-style thing that was going on at the time. It was all the rave. I don't really care. Point is that once he even finally got the right DNA, his clones were so unstable that they were able to be defeated with soda. Yes, as in soft drinks, as in readily available. Takeaway: no cloning. No cloning. Okay, fine, you want something more detailed? How about don't cut corners in your cloning, because it just creates problems. Clones are copies, and if you make a problem, that copy is going to be of a problem, which means the copy of a copy will develop more problems, and it just turns into a cascade. All right. Incident 1.17-17. Did you really have to label these this irritatingly? This one makes me mad just reading it again. So this was the time that he got it into his head to steal a mind control chip. It might have worked if that clown had not dared to also put one of those mind control chips on me, because apparently I was giving him too much lip, and he wanted a nice, ditzy yes girl instead of a badass who can actually get the job done. Fragile ego much? Anyway, when Kim came to try to retrieve the chip, he managed to put one on her, which again, huge stroke of luck. Pure dumb luck. Anyway, I'm terrified to say that he might have succeeded in this if it hadn't turned out that that day Kimmy was babysitting her dweeby younger twin brothers. I still can't believe those annoying little brats managed to cobble together a portable silicon phase disruptor to deactivate the mind control chips. Although I guess on some level I owe them for doing that, but that'll be between you and me. Now, it should be obvious, but the takeaway from this is never mind control your top asset unless you want to end up way more black and blue than usual. Because payback can and will bite you. Moving on. Incident 2.1-22. This was a time in which Draken and I broke into a top secret lab so that he could use the government's Project Phoebus. Phobius? I can barely read his writing. Anyway, to make himself a genius. As usual, even though I managed to get us in quickly and with minimal difficulty, he was there setting off alarms, and then once we finally were in the room, he showboated and gloated and took so long that Kim Possible had time to arrive and thwart his plan. Takeaway, and this is an important one because it's actually based on other criminals' science. So, perk up those ears. All right, takeaway. If you are breaking into a location, follow the tried and true 90-second rule, which was developed by bank robbers and states that if you linger at the scene of a crime for longer than 90 seconds, your odds of being caught skyrocket. You get in, you get out, smash and grab. Don't linger. Got it? All right. Now, incident 2.7-28. In this one, Draken stole a weather machine with the brilliant. Can you hear the air quotes, or should I make them more obvious? He stole a weather machine with the brilliant idea to use it to take over Canada and rename it Canada. We don't even need to get into how Kim stopped him, because I can already take you straight to the takeaway for this, which is very simply, don't undertake an evil plot just because you came up with a name that you really like. Seriously, Canada. This was never going to work. All right. Finally, Incident 2.8-29. Draken attempted to brainwash spring breakers by broadcasting a signal to their MP3 players, but accidentally tapped into the hearing aids of Florida's senior citizens instead. But despite this, he almost managed to turn the tables and transform lemons into world domination with his elderly army of retirees. However, as usual, Kim Possible raided his lair, got captured, and then he proceeded to talk her to death, going over his grand plan, all the while failing to check her outfit for gadgets which she's known to use. And of course, eventually, because of this oversight, allowing her to escape to, you guessed it, foil his plan. Takeaway: don't get so busy monologuing that you lose sight of the big picture, namely, disposing of the hero quickly so that you can move on to ruling the world or whatever. I think that's a good amount for today. Next time, we can take this a step further. Have you ever heard of the Evil Overlord list? This is a comprehensive guide cobbled together by some of the greatest evil minds in the business. Why did I not start out with the Evil Overlord list? Was it possible that I'm still a little bit pissed at Draken for any number of the things that he made me endure on this list, and that perhaps I chose this as a way to get back at him by mocking him for all these failures? Possible. That's certainly possible. But if I were you, I would take this seriously. Now, I trust that you are taking notes. Good. Now, let's get ready to move on to the next step. That will be going over the Evil Overlord list, and after that, we can try some nice, soft target, quick smash and grab style crimes. Nothing too big. We don't want to attract the attention of any righteous heroes. How do I know so much about the way that heroes work? You must not have heard. Embarrassing to say, I used to be one. But that's what gives me my edge. I know the way that goody goods think. You should see my brothers. They are... What's a combination between a train wreck and a nightmare? Let's just go with cliche. Point is, congratulations. You managed to find a tutor who's actually going to make sure that you succeed. That may be in spite of you, depending on whether or not you were overly fond of some of the unnecessarily flamboyant actions that this list, I believe, comprehensively showed are not the correct actions for a villain to do. We have a little saying, conquer first, laugh maniacally later. Got it? All right, good. Now get your notes together, and I'll see you tomorrow for our next lesson. I've been Shego, your tutor, and you have surprisingly been not nearly as big of a pain as I thought you would be. Yes, that's a compliment. Now, bye-bye.